So I figure, I guess what I'll do is I'll just come and I'll tell you the first half of my story. My story is not a story of trauma. Okay, there's no sexual abuse in my childhood. Nobody taking the boots to me, at least when I was young. No being chained up in the basement. And I've kind of walked alongside a lot of guys who had to really deal with that kind of stuff. I actually grew up, at least in my childhood, in a really good, healthy Christian home with deep roots inside of the church. So where does that fit here? Because my wound is abandonment, and my path to addiction is purely out of rebellion, pride, and that kind of a walk. When I was 10, my parents moved me and my brother to Ottawa to start their first business, and their posture in life is work ethic, okay, entrepreneurship, and setting priorities, and just that was it. So I was left completely unsupervised, without any structure, without any guidance, without any real, except for my childhood grounding, none of the stuff you need at that age. So I followed their posture. I don't need nobody. I don't need anybody. I don't trust anybody. I'll live my life my own way. I'm not going to pursue and act out to get attention, because I don't need attention. I'm my own guy, and I'll follow my own set of rules. So, I'm probably just about the oldest guy in the room here. So, but by the time I was 14, from then on, I always at least had a part-time job, and that's when I first started drinking. Was at 14. By 16, with money in my pockets, I was frequenting the taverns, the pubs, a few clubhouses. Mostly though the rock band dives. If any old school Ottawa guys here, the downstairs with Barber at the Shot or the British. Okay, that was my world. That's what I lived. And in those years, I was a pretty capable guy, fit and strong, and a huge need for adrenaline. So a lot of the activities in that world that went along with that was what I was part of. But it was really weird, because I had these little sets of boundaries, these little red lines that I didn't cross. And what that allowed me to do was live in a complete life of absolute delusion, denial that I did not have a problem. I didn't see it, didn't face it, and I never understood it until a long time down the road. The best way probably inside of the time frame to explain that was, I got married. I had 3 great kids with a family. Now, I did what I want, when I wanted, how I wanted, by my own rules, by my own life, and it didn't matter. But I never left the rent or the mortgage payment at the bar, okay? And I always went to work and provided for my family. No sleep, go to work. Hungover, go to work. A little banged up from whatever happened the night before, go to work. So that allows you to live in that complete delusion that guys with problems don't do that. So I don't have a problem, I'm a good guy. Most of the crew I ran with, they were pretty unfaithful with their girlfriends or their wives, but I never crossed that line. Porn? No, that doesn't matter. Strip clubs? That doesn't matter. I would even flirt with girls while my wife was at the same party in the same room, but I don't cross that one line, because only guys with problems cross that line. So as long as I have these little baselines, I never obviously laid a finger on my wife. I didn't even go off on her verbally very much. Didn't argue, but she had no voice. She had no say. I made the rules. I made the decisions. This is how we're going to do things. Don't waste your time arguing with me. This is our life. But I never went off and did all those things. Guys with problems do that. I don't. I'm in denial. So, and I lived that way for a long time, never really understanding that I was an addict. I'm the one who had the problem. After 21 years of marriage, she just, I'm done, I'm gone. She told me one day, the next day she was out the door. And that was my one and only bottom that I hit. I actually had to come face to face with the fact that it was me. I had to look in the mirror and say, I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one that is living inside of addictions. I'm the one that, and it was just like devastating for me. And that was my epiphany moment, my one-time thing. I guess it was that was in October of 2006. It was about 2 weeks after that I had my moment. I had one of those God moments, okay? It was in the middle of my kitchen floor. I dropped on my knees, like I don't remember my entire life ever shedding a tear, but a lot of guys say that. But I was down there just snot, shaking, doing all that kind of stuff, just saying, Lord, you know what? if you'll take me back, because I had these roots as a child of understanding the right path to take and the right way to go. But my addictions drove me into something crazy. My need for adrenaline drove me into a really tough life. But that was my moment. That was my turning point. And I meant it when I said it, because I was always very extreme, which most of us in this room as addicts understand the extreme lifestyle. You're all in or you're all out. There's no in-betweens in any of that. So when I said yes, I said, I'm yours. You become the director of my life. I can't manage it. And everything turned around. I ran to a church at that moment. Okay, I'll end this. I'm only going to share the first half of the story anyways. But from that moment on, that's 17 years, 6 months ago, I didn't touch drugs, booze, nothing. My life turned 180 degrees. But the thing that took the time, and this is why I'm here and why my ministry has taken this kind of a direction, is because there's all that shame, all that guilt, all that resentment that's still in there. And even though I had this miraculous moment where I was completely delivered from any kind of my addictions, I had to work the process and learn the process to walk that out. I ran to a local church. I met this amazing pastor there who walked me through the 12-step and started to help me in my side of my recovery, and that's been an amazing thing. So I will forever always say, you can work the steps, you can work the process. Okay, you may even find abstinence, but you won't find freedom, you won't find victory, you won't find any kind of genuine healing unless you have that God moment. I mean, straight out of the big book, Bill tells us that. It was a spiritual experience, and that's the only thing that saved me. It's the only thing that will actually bring genuine freedom to anybody. And I can prove that because the next 17 years, 6 months of my life have been a crazy, crazy, amazing journey. My buddy Gerald, he had a line I heard when I was talking to him a few weeks ago. He says, I'm looking down, and I still haven't looked down. I still haven't looked down. I just keep going up and up and up. And that's been 17 years, 6 months of my life. And if I had time, I'd share the whole thing with you, but that would prove that this is the way it is. Anyways, thanks for listening.